Hello, everyone. Sarah here. Today, the question that came to mind was, what are you being called to do based upon what you've been through? And this question came up because I just completed an interview with someone. We're going to be doing a 2-week summit talking about triumph after trauma. And just so many things come to mind when we're looking at what we've been through. And so my question for you is, what are you being called to do based upon what you've been through? In this interview, Triumph After Trauma, or the prequel kind of interview, there was questions and topics and discussion and things that we could go into. And I said, there are just so many things. There's so many things that we can bring based upon what we've been brought through. And I just shared a post on Facebook that talked about that, or Instagram, both of them, right? It's all things always. And it's only having motivation when you have motivation is never enough for transformation. And I really see all the ways that this has played into a complete internal personal transformation through the personal work that I've done with myself, that I take other people through. You get to experience transformation, not just motivation, because you can't, it's really difficult to just be motivated by the things that you've gone through in your past, especially when those things feel like they're completely lacking energetically in motivation, or the energy and the frequency around the motivation that they had was to prove yourself, was to prove your worth, was to prove that you're good enough, was to prove that you're lovable enough to someone else who doesn't even see themselves as lovable, therefore has the doesn't even hold the capacity to see you or anyone else as lovable because they don't see themselves as that. So all of that, all of that goes into play to say, well, what is it that you're being called to do based upon what you've been through? And this has led me down this most beautiful, incredible road, down a road that I never ever saw myself going down or imagined that I was worthy of going down this road out of pain and trauma and emotional abuse and neglect, and seeing that I was energetically attracting people in my life that carried the same frequency and energy that I had, that I held, to bringing it to someone who could actually do something about it, to sitting with myself with it, and to inviting another frequency and energy in, and to establishing a foundation of faith in my relationship with God, with my personal creator and savior. Um, just seeing how it all works together. And we all have that story. We all have that special, unique, divine gift, passion, and purpose within us. We all get the opportunity and ability to use what we've gone through to make it through, to help others go through what they're going through. Because we're programmed for connection. We're hardwired for connection. God wired us for connection. And a lot of us are living with connection to rejection and believing that we deserve to continually experience rejection. That's not what God says about us. And that's not the way that God would ever treat us. God would never reject us, no matter how many times we fall down, we fall short, or we mess up. He's always there with open arms, but we're not always there with open arms to ourselves. We're often the one that internally slams the door in our face and thinks, what is wrong with you? You don't deserve to come in here. You don't deserve to come in and experience all of this incredibleness and vastness and goodness. And so it's almost like you sit inside in your internal device and experience all the emotions inside, experience envy, jealousy, rage, discontentment, disdain, and wonder what's wrong with you. And that's most often the question that comes up. You realize, okay, I may need to let this go. I may need to release. I may need to surrender. And I had someone comment recently on a YouTube post that said, how? And I laughed because that is one of the most important questions. And that is the question that's not up to us to have the answer to. That is the one that that you will be experiencing, that you will be shown, that it isn't up to you to try to figure out the answer to. But a lot of us look outside of ourselves and we look to external things to try and figure out a question or an answer to an internal question. How is an internal question? And if you're asking how and you're trying to figure out how, you're trying to do it through your own limited wisdom, through your own limited understanding. And so, therefore, the energy around that is contracting and not expanding. And so you feel limited, you feel stuck, you feel small, and you're not really tapping into what's available. to you based upon what you've gone through. And so you limit your capacity and ability to see it all as purposeful, to see it all as meaningful, to see that it all has a place, to see that there is space for it all, that none of it's wrong, that none of it is bad, that none of it means that you have to hold on to a label that someone else gave you or attached to you or assigned to you that is diminishing you, your ability, your passions, your purpose. All of that gets to be released. All of that is stories that get to let go, that get to just drop to the ground. They get to be lost, and you get to experience being found. All of it has purpose. And a lot of people say, oh, I just spent my whole life living this way. And so the story that I wake up with every day is it is what it is. Really? And are you just crossing your fingers and hoping and wishing and praying for some motivation to come in that's going to sweep you into the next stage and phase of your life? One that's going to be so much better. One that you get to say, I finally get to not ever look back. Why not get to say, I get to look back with gratitude? Why not get to say, I get to look back with what I did in the past and what I experienced in the past with compassion, with grace, with mercy, with empathy, with just an awareness of where I used to be, and have and hold that and hold it feeling like, wow, that's all part of my story. That's all part of what I got to go through. That's all part of what I needed in order to grow through. Everything you've been through has a purpose and has a plan. But a lot of times we're seeing what I need to let go of, and then we're looking for someone else externally to answer the question of how. My response to that comment was, even if I told you, it may not work for you, because that would just be advice based on my experience, my perception. But we can't ever actually walk in someone else's shoes. We can go to the one who knows the shoes we're wearing and who knows the steps that we've taken. And we can tap and tune into internal guidance based upon the one who created us, based upon the one who came to save us, instead of closing off to what's available. And so this entire transformation and journey has made me open to what's available, has made me open to realizing there's so much more. That song just came to mind. There's so much more to me, right? We get to take the best parts of Disney and we get to apply them, we get to live with them, because there is so much more to you. Are you living with that so much more to you? Or are you living with the very limited you? Are you living with the so much more to you? Or are you living with the limited you based upon what you've been through? Because everything you've gone through has a purpose, has a place, and has a reason. And we're all here for connection. We're all here to guide each other, to help each other, to motivate each other, to support each other, to encourage each other. And if you've got people in your life that are not living in alignment with that, take a look at who's letting them stay in your life. It's certainly not them, it's you. And so what is it about you, without blaming yourself, shaming yourself, or making yourself wrong, and seeing the way that you desire to go on, and seeing who you desire to experience being in your corner. Who is the one that you choose to go to first, before anyone else, above everything else? For me, it's God. I go to him before anyone else and above everything else. And that's taken some time, but I said yes to it. And I said yes to seeing and believing that he doesn't know, that there's no way he doesn't know about everything I've gone through. And there's no way that he doesn't believe that everything I've gone through is so that A, I could be close to him, and B, it could become part of my passion, my purpose, and my desire, and that I could constantly and continuously live with that and live with him and help others to do the same. Does that make sense? So it's just been an amazing, amazing journey and such a wild ride. One of my mentors says, up and down on the way up, and I've completely felt that. And a lot of us think that the growth to healing looks like this, totally linear. That's So far from the truth. Up and down on the way up. I want to share this with you guys. I've got a couple different Instagrams if you didn't know that. I have my business one, the re.right.your.life, and then obviously my personal one. It's just my name. And here is the picture. Can you see that? Is it backwards? Anyways, on the top it says our plan. A lot of times our plan is like this. Whatever it was, the career that I chose, the pathway that I chose, the relationship that I chose, I thought it would be like this. And it was like wicked and evil. It was like, oh my gosh, no, but I thought it would be smooth sailing, right? This is the one. This is a relationship that's going to be smooth sailing, and you get told a lot of things. And when you're in a toxic, emotionally unavailable, and abusive relationship, especially the one that you have with yourself, and you're attracting that through someone else, you're thinking, oh no, right? We get into the savior complex and we're in this victim complex. So energetically, it's already starting off horrible. But in that you realize, okay, it's me. It's me inside. It's me, the one that hears that voice inside my head every night. It's me that's filled with dread, and I don't like this, but this is exactly what my mentor says. It's up and down on the way up. So here you go, up and down on the way up. A lot of times there's water in the pits. A lot of times there's lownesses in the valleys. Look at this, there's rocks right here and there's storm clouds over here, and a lot of times it feels that way. And it's funny because this is a verse that has come up for me a lot recently, and it says James 1:2-4. Consider it all joy when you encounter various trials, because the testing of your faith produces endurance, so that you may be lacking in nothing. Well, if you're lacking in nothing, you're not lacking. That means you have everything. You have everything in Him. I think a lot of us try to have everything ourselves, or by our own will, or by our own willpower, by our own endurance, by our own doing. And so we're constantly in the masculine energy and frequency of doing, hustle, grind, do more, do more, do more. And we're not getting the results or the impact that we desire. And we're thinking, what is wrong with me? Right? There's that question again. And that's a question from the enemy. The question from the enemy is, what's wrong with me? There's never anything wrong with you. There's not, ever. Because God doesn't make accidents or mistakes. And none of it's a coincidence. A lot of it is, my nose is running, energy, frequency, and internal unconscious beliefs. Do you believe what He says about you? Do you believe that you are fearfully and wonderfully made? Do you believe that He has a purpose and a plan for your life? Do you believe that your life has a plan and a purpose? Do you believe that everything you've gone through has a purpose and has a place in today and can make a difference in your lives and the lives of others in a positive way? And that's really this whole beautiful game about this internal experience and transformation, is not leaving anything on the table, is really being open to it all, being open to what God has called you to do. Or are you going to leave your purpose there? Are you going to die wondering what if? Or get to the end of your life and gone, oh man, I wish. Look back while you're on your deathbed. I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have said that. I wish I would have done this sooner. I wish I wouldn't have waited so long to really just go for it, to just open myself up to the thing that I always desired to experience. Or are you going to say, you know what? I'm just dying with my potential inside of me. I'm dying with my purpose inside of me. Now I see, but it's too late. Hey, it's never too late. Ever, ever, ever. It really isn't. But why not make today the day? Especially if you're feeling like it's too late. Why not claim today as the day? Especially if you're feeling like it's too late. Easiest thing to do is to say, I'll start Monday. But guess what? Every 7 days, there's a new Monday. Every 7 days, there's a new Monday. So don't wait. Make it be today. Make this to be your Monday. Say, today is the day. Today is the day that I fully commit. Today is the day that I'm open. Today is the day that I begin. Today is the day that I invest in myself, in my internal transformation, in adopting new belief systems. We were all adopted. If you're a follower of Jesus, you've been adopted into the kingdom of God. Adoption is a beautiful thing. It's the opportunity to experience new life, especially when we adopt new belief systems, especially when we adopt new ways of seeing ourselves, especially when we adopt new ways of looking at our past and seeing it all as an opportunity to experience a more incredible future. Everything you've gone through. And drop the labels, drop the stories, and move into what God has for you. I get on fire. I get really passionate about this because it has so completely transformed everything in my life. through the highs, through the lows, through the ups, through the downs, on the mountaintops, in the valleys, it all gets to be good. It all gets to be called joy. It all gets to be a James 1, 2 through 4. Consider all joy when you encounter various trials because the testing of your faith produces endurance. You look at endurance athletes, it's like they can go forever. It's like, how do you do that? That is not human. How do you go that long? How do you have that stamina? How do you have that energy? How do you have that? And they're like, well, you have it too. It's really not that hard. It takes consistency. It takes getting out there, even when you don't feel like it. It takes understanding that your feelings are not facts, and it takes continuing to move through the process of it so that you may be lacking in nothing. It's incredible. You want a book of wisdom? Open the Bible. You want to feel freedom from your shame and the pain? Read the word because it's full of things that will just speak to you internally and alternate and transform your internal belief system. Of course, do the internal work, and that's what I do privately and personally with my clients, is really get to the core and the depth of that and move through over around whatever their mind says to do through those internal things that are blocking them and feel like they're stopping them, to see that that was really just all a mirage and a facade. There's nothing stopping or blocking you except what's in here. And that's the shape of the internal belief system. That's looking back at the past and going, I can't because of that. It's all fake. That's not true at all. I can't because of that. And then you could Google and find evidence of someone who had that, but worse, and just made miracles out of it. Used it for their purpose, used it for their passion, use it to fuel and motivate and drive and inspire others to do the same. Use it as a platform, their story of how they've gotten through all that and the pain. And they've turned that pain into purpose, into passion, and you can do the same. It's really hard to do that same with that same belief system. So that's where I began, was working on the internal structure and belief system, the way that I viewed myself in the world and the things that I believed about myself in the world, and then letting God in and seeing that my beliefs now are in alignment with his beliefs about me. And the cool thing about him is that he remains the same. He will never change. He will always be faithful till the end. And he is the beginning and the end. So there is no end to his faithfulness or greatness. Oh, so you're going to see a lot more of my content bringing in the truth about who I know that God is for me, for you, for all of us, and really expanding all of this through programs, through the work that I do one-to-one with my clients. But I just wanted to share this with all of you and invite you to accept the invitation to say yes to yourself and to him. I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. When you're ready to connect, just visit sarahpicaro.com. Bye for now.